We're on and popping, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Salty Logs. I don't even know what episode it is, which is good, because that means we've been doing a few of these. I'm kidding. It's episode 17. It is, man. Damn, I can't wait till we hit episode 100. Woo! And we have a party. Amir presenta Carmen. That's like some party shit. You know when you go to those nightclubs, those dance clubs? You've never been to a dance club and you heard when they're like the DJ? My friend Ali was doing that shit. He'd go like, Amir presenta.
Oh, it's Latin.
What?
That's
Well, it's
Latin.
Spanish, yeah, like in Spain when they have those parties.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Spanish, man, when they have the list, the Castellano, whatever.
I know Spanish. That's not Spanish.
Spanish, fool. No, I'm talking about like when you go to Greece and shit and they're partying
okay.
like fucking Ibiza.
Yeah.
And they talk like this from the Spain.
Never been.
Whatever, man. But when you're at the club and they're like, this is the party. Tonight is the night for the party. And those things shoot off. You don't know what I'm talking about? Bro, you never went out. This fool, J.R. Cruz, just confessed to me that he was a cholo. Or no, he would change his identity every school he went to. And he told me, this fool told me that he went to one new high school. And he wanted to be a cholo, like he wanted to be a gangbanger. And that shit didn't work out after like a month. And then he had to like return all his high socks and his dicky pants and then go back to his old school so he could be himself. Oh, that's so good, bro. That's too funny, man.
You gotta, your represent. Oh shit.
Your representation precedes itself, dog. No.
It's I got my teeth. I got my
Yeah, you got your teeth clean. JR got a deep cleaning, which is weird. I got a tooth cleaning. I only pay for one. I can't afford the other ones. I got my tooth cleaned. This one.
Just one?
Just one, dog. I can't afford the rest. It's COVID, man. You got to do one at a time. I'll go back and get the rest done. No, dude, teeth cleanings. So I did one about a week ago. I think dentists sometimes they have this thing where they're kind of like mechanics because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. So when they're talking to you, they're like, hey, man, yeah, you got to get the root canal thing, but we got to wait a week because we got to get the other thing processed. It's a 2-mold process. So we got to come back. So in that meantime, we could take care of these other things. Because then you'll talk to one guy, he'll take x-rays and see a totally different thing. And then you'll go to the next guy, he's like, oh, no, man, these are just fine. These aren't cavities at all. So I've had a couple of situations like that. One time I went to this fucking guy, man. I got a Groupon for a teeth cleaning. Dog, that should have been the red flag enough. But I'm like, damn, this is a good deal, $50 and you get your teeth cleaned. And I should have known it was a scam. And it was a Persian guy too. Fucking guy calls me, the dentist. Not even like, something's wrong when the dentist is calling you. It shouldn't be the dentist. It should be his assistant or like, the receptionist calling you to set an appointment. If the dentist is calling you, there's something wrong. There's something really wrong, dude. Because he should be busy doing other stuff. Now, they're down in the dumps if the guy's calling you to schedule himself, dude. And now he calls me, and this is the conversation we had, dude. He goes, hello, yeah, this is Dr. blah, 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 with, dental, smiling, dental. They always have a name like that, like smile dental forever, your smile dental, smile. It always has smile in there and like perfect smile, dental smile. And they always put forever or whatever it is. I don't know. There's a lot of them, man. And he goes, you got the cleaning service. Okay. Is it okay if after that I tell you need a deep cleaning?
What?
Dude, the guy is like, he's basically telling me, hey, man, you're just going to come in and I'm going to tell you you're going to need a deep cleaning. Because he wants to get the maximum money out of me. So this is basically, he's like, this is just to look at your teeth. So basically, I'm just paying $50 for the guy to go, oh, yeah, you need a deep cleaning. And, I'm like, dude, you haven't even seen my teeth yet. He goes, yeah, but, I want to make sure it's okay with you that if I tell you you need a deep cleaning. I'm like, dude, this sounds like a scam. Anyway, I go in there. I go to the place, man. This was years ago. And the guy starts doing my teeth. He starts going in and I right away, dude, his nails were a little too long. You know, when a doctor doesn't have good hygiene, that's not a good sign, my friends. The doctor should have good hygiene. That's like one of the professions you got to have good hygiene in. You know, you can't have like a fucking big old scruffy beard with neck hair. You know, trim it up. If you're a doctor, trim it like that. You know, keep it tight, nice and tight. I don't want you to do an operation on me and there's hairs falling into my body that you're sewing back up, but now I got your DNA inside of my body, which sounds more disgusting than it is. So anyway, the dude's nails are a little long. I noticed them. I go, man, that's a little gross, but whatever. Let's see what it is. $50. And then I'm already going in there. This is the same guy that told me, like, oh, is it okay if I tell you need a deep cleaning? And I remember I kind of had a back and forth with him about, hey, man, you haven't even looked at my teeth. Why don't you wait to look at my teeth before you do this? This kind of give me a little pause, a little hesitation, because you're telling me I might need a deep cleaning. You haven't even looked at my mouth, dude. You don't even know what kind of guy. What if I'm like a stellar mouth cleaner? I don't know. The guy starts to do the best cleaning I've ever had. And it's so detailed. And I'm like, this is like way better than I thought. Like way better than I thought. And we talked just a little bit before he started, and he did it himself. Like usually when you go to a dentist, they'll have like the, what do they call them? The dental
assistants,
dental hygienist or whatever they are. The dental assistant will do the cleaning part. And then maybe the dentist will come in and do the last like polish and then talk to you about your teeth and what kind of care you need. I'm talking to you guys as if no one here has been to a dentist. But
you'd be surprised.
Yeah, dude, that's one thing, you know, if you have the money for it, like take care of your teeth, I guess. And I try to, but I get this buildup really quickly on my teeth. Some people get it quicker than others because you have all your glands here. I don't know the technical shit to it, but whatever. So I got to do cleanings like as regularly as I can, and stay on top of flossing and all that shit. And this guy did the best cleaning I've ever had. The guy that I thought was going to be a scam. And I'm like, what? And then finally I'm like, oh, and he goes, you want to do whitening? I'll do whitening for you. And I did the whitening too. And he like just charged not that much more. I thought this was going to be a hose job. Then he goes, well, you know, for your profession. And I hadn't told him what I do. And I guess he had seen me do shows with Maz. So that's why he was like doing a good job. And maybe he thinks I'm going to have word of mouth or whatever and tell people like to come see him or something. Anyway, that was that guy. But then we had a falling out. Dude, he was cool at first. And then all of a sudden they always try to like screw you at some point, you know? But he was one of the guys like, yeah, every 3 months come and do a fucking cleaning. And I was like, what? He's like, every 3 months? Doesn't that seem excessive?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And then, yeah, we had some crazy thing over he wanted to do like a crown or something. I have amalgam in my teeth. Amalgam is that I used to do it when we were kids. It was like that. It's like got mercury in it. Those like, they're like metal fillings.
Yeah, I have.
You know when you see?
Yeah, I have some too.
That's amalgam. So I was reading something about, that mercury could like mess with your blood or body or something like that and make you feel like lethargic and lazy. I don't know. I was using it as an excuse. I'm like, oh, it's my fucking teeth. That's why when we saw Dr. Cornelius.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Cornelius.
There was this doctor in Mexico that JR and I went down to visit when we were doing the La Jolla Comedy Store. This guy, Dr. Cornelius. Ornelius? No, Dr. Ornelius.
Ornelius, but you called him Cornelius.
I call him Dr. Cornelius the whole time. Anyway, let me tell you the story about this doctor guy. I was in Boston. I was with one of my old friends, and we were like partying, and we get back to the hotel. I was doing Laugh Boston shows, and this was like late at night, like 3 a.m. We're coming back. We're like, damn, we wish we had more booze. We get to the hotel, and there's like a bunch of these guys like dressed all nice, like partying outside. And it was one guy sitting in the fucking bushes, and he's just like, hey, amigo. And I go, what the fuck? And I look over and he goes, you want some tequila? And I go, yeah. I thought you never asked. He goes, go get my bottle. And at first I thought he was paralyzed because the way he was like sitting in the bushes. But he was just this drunk dude, this drunk doctor guy, Dr. Ornelius. And that's when I met him. And he goes, go inside, grab my bottle from the table. And so I go into the hotel, and there's this big ass bottle of some like nice tequila. And he's like, bring that over here. And then we started drinking shots and shit. And then I started to talk to these guys. And we got to talking. He's like, yeah, this is a dentist convention. So I'm like, damn, this guy must be pretty good at what he does if he's at a dental convention. And the other guy I was talking to was like some guy from he was like Dutch. He was like, if you do all these things, that's good for everybody. And he was telling me all this shit. And he was like, yeah, you have to come party on my yacht. Amertia, presenta. But he was a character, and so we were talking, and they were big upping each other. You know, like one guy would be like, "This guy's the best fucking crowns in all of the town." You know, they all had specialties. So I was talking to Dr. Ornelius, and he was like talking a big game. He's like, "Hey man, I'm in Mexico. I got the best practice in TJ. I do everybody's teeth, man. And I'm like, hey man, I got amalgam in my teeth. I told him, I go, I got this amalgam, those middle fillings. And he goes, dude, I'm an expert in that shit. He goes, I am the guy to go to in Mexico. So this is just crazy that we're talking, man. You need that removed. I do that. And I got all the latest tools. So I'm like, damn. And it just so happened that the following weekend, I was going to be performing. I'm in Boston right then, but the following weekend, I was going to be performing in La Jolla at the Comedy Store, which is in San Diego, maybe 30 minutes from the border. So I'm like, dude, this is perfect. I'm going to come visit you. We got to chopping it up. We were like having some drinks together. We got kind of loose talking and whatnot. And we had made a plan that I'm like, dude, I'm going to come visit you. We exchanged numbers. Seemed like a legit cool dude. So we make the plans. Next weekend comes. And I kind of almost forgot about Dr. Ornelius, that I met him. And I'm like, oh, you make those drunk plans. We all made drunk plans. Oh, man, we should go camping more often with a motherfucker you don't even know. So I made these drunk plans, and I kind of forgot about him. And then we're sitting in La Jolla at the condo, I believe, and I get a text. And it says, Dr. Ornelius. He goes, hey, Paisa, or whatever the fuck he called me. And he goes, hey, buddy, are you in San Diego? Like, I want to come to the shows. And I was like, oh, shit. I told JR about this guy. I go, dude, this is this cool, like, doctor guy. And I think I want him to do some work on my teeth. He'll probably hook it up. And JR's like, hell yeah, I want to get some shit done, too.
I told him about the crowd.
Yeah. So we both were like, oh, this is going to be perfect. We'll go down there. We'll have a day in Mexico and maybe have this fool, like, do something to fix our teeth. Or we'll at least make plans to come back and see him.
Yeah, you're like, nah, we got to go scope him out and see how good he is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we can make up a plan to go get it.
Yeah,
so
why? Why not? Like, why not? Because I know that shit ain't cheap either. So I was like, this could work out. We made the plans. We go down there. We bring Ari with us. I feel so bad. Oh my God, today is Ari's birthday.
It's his birthday?
So this is a trip. So today.
Oh, this was a year
ago today. Okay. It's Ari's birthday today. I saw it on Facebook or something. Happy birthday, Ari. This will probably come out a couple days later, but happy birthday. So this is why I feel bad about Ari. We bring this poor guy to Mexico. He wanted to go, just hang out and party and stuff, but we're like, no, me and JR have an agenda to go check out this doctor's office and see if it's going to be legit for him to work on our teeth. Because I didn't have insurance at the time. I don't know if JR did.
I did not.
Yeah, so I didn't have insurance. So I'm like, dude, this will be a hookup. Anyway, we go to the guy's office, and Ari's with us. I forget it's his birthday. He doesn't tell us it's his birthday. And we have the longest, like, drawn out day of doing nothing, like going to the dentist's office. We go to the office, and Dr. Ornelius is there with his daughter. He's trying to impress us with all his shit. He's like, dude, look at this machine. But it's like, it's all of our machines, but maybe 20 years older. Like, it's not state of the art. And I'm not an expert, but I'm like, well, that looks pretty cool. And then he had like some old chair from like the 1920s, and he's like, look, I even collect. Like, I'm legit.
It's made to say the kid, you take this off, and there's a little chair. You put his feet here.
And he uses no anesthetic, bro. He just uses this.
Azul tequila.
So it's Ari's birthday. We take him right to a fucking dentist office. Poor guy, it's his birthday, and then me and JR are going to see a dentist, fool. Like, what's the last thing you want to go to on your birthday? The last thing, a fucking dentist. That's the last thing I would say. They go, hey, dude, you have 1,000 options of shit to do. What's the last thing on that option list is to see a dentist. 1,000%. And we're in there, and me and JR are gassing this dude up. We're like, oh my God, man, you got the best tools in the business. Oh, no wonder you were in Boston, because you had to tell them about these fucking tools you have. And he's showing us, and it's like not even that pro, the shit, dude. It's like, those tools they use for your mouth, and they're just wrapped in saran wrap.
Yeah.
Like, not even, like, it didn't look super sanitary. From what he was talking, he was like, oh yeah, this machine clears the mercury in the air, so when you're working on that amalgam shit, that mercury that gets in the air could be toxic. So you have to have this fucking ray shit that like shoots from one side and catches from another side, and it's just constantly going in the room. So when the particles get dispersed in the air, they get caught and they don't get absorbed into your body, you know. Or if you swallow that shit, it's very toxic to your health. So we're like, oh, dude, this guy's talking a good game. He knows what he's talking about. Blah blah blah. And then he's like, hey, let's go to lunch. I want to take you guys to a lunch. He's like, there's this really good seafood place. Let's go check it out. So we're like, hell yeah, we're game. I don't even think Ari likes seafood. It's his birthday, and now we got to go to seafood place. And Ari probably didn't even want. Again, we forgot it's his birthday altogether, dude. I felt so bad after I found out, man. And and he's just kind of like looking at us, and he's listening. And Ari's not part of the gas up shit. Ari's like, man, fuck you guys, dude. You simple shits. Just like giving this guy such props because he wanted a little discount on some teeth fucking services.
He was so mad. He wasn't mad.
But he was low-key mad.
Low-key afterwards, I'm like, oh, I can see how he looked bothered.
If it was your birthday and you're like sitting there in Mexico, like instead of having fun, you're fucking inspecting a dentist's office.
And then we went to his apartment.
Dude, and then we go to the restaurant. Check this out. So now this is already like 2 hours in with Dr. Ornelius. You know, we met him at his office, and he's like, let's go to lunch, man. I want to take you guys to lunch. The best, you know, seafood place in town. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. We go there, dude. And he brings his daughter, but she didn't speak English. So I was like pulling teeth, and she was sitting across from me. I go, I'm trying to communicate with her. Ornelius is having a good time ordering a billion things, and he's just ordering shit. We're getting lobster, crab, fish, sashimi, anything, any type of seafood you talk about, we're getting it, dude. And Dr. Ornelius is talking, but the best was when we pulled up to the valet, and he was talking like, dude, I run this town. I do the cartel's teeth. I do their teeth. I do his teeth. I do her teeth. I do that guy's mama's teeth. He was telling us like he's the only doctor in town, dude, that does teeth. That's how he talked to us. And he goes, this is my favorite restaurant. When we go there, they got it all set up for me. They got a nice table. We show up. These motherfuckers didn't even know who he was. They had no clue who this guy is. And there's nothing more embarrassing than when you show up somewhere and you have told people like, oh, dude, they know me here. And you go, what's up, Carl? Hey, what's up, man? That guy goes, what? Hey. And he gives you that look like, whoa, hey, what? Hey, guy. You know, doesn't know your name and all that. That's what it felt like. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's what it was starting to feel like. I was like, oh, man, this guy, they don't. And he was like, I could see him starting to get a little hot. Remember, he was like running around there like, hey, that's my car. And they go, move your car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when they don't respect you at all and you get out of the car and they're like, I thought we'd pull up like the scene in Casino, you know, like we'd pull up.
That's how
or
it felt.
Goodfellas, you know, where they walk us through the back of the kitchen and they go, oh, Mr. Ornelius, you're here. And they take his keys. They don't even seamlessly, we just walk in. Somebody guides us in through the kitchen. You know, we see the chef. He gives us a little shout out and goes, hey, I can't wait to make you something good. You know, like, and then we cruise and we go sit at our table that they already have set up, the best table in the house in the center of the place. That's what I thought in my head. But we get there, fool. And then he pulls out and he gets out of his car. And then immediately the guy goes, hey, move your car. Move your car. He's getting jammed up right away. So he had to get back in the car and like turn it on again and move it like an asshole, you know? And then we finally like get inside. And now they're like, it's a wait because it's busy. So there's a wait, dude. It's like a Friday night or whatever. It's like a Friday, like early
Friday
evening. Whatever it was. It was like people were starting to go there. They didn't have no table set up for us. Nobody knew him, dude. And he was like, oh, yeah, Manuel. And they were like, back in. Like nobody paid attention. Finally, we get a table, right? And then we sit down. And he had brought his daughter. And she was sitting like across from me, and she kind of like didn't speak English that well. So it was just, you know, and I was like, okay, I didn't want to be rude. So I'm like talking to her like, hey, good, ¿cómo estás? You know, like doing my Spanish 101 shit. And when there's like that loss in translation for me, when there's that like little bit of lapse in the translation or like the timing isn't right, all my shit, dude, is like sarcastic jokes, you know, or like I talk shit a lot. And if you don't get it right away, it's done. It's done. The joke's over. It doesn't make sense for me to re-explain the joke. No, I mean the fish. Is it old, you know? And she's taking everything literal, like, no, it's fresh fish. You know, the fish is fresh. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just fucking kidding. Like, how old is the fish? The age. I got to explain. Whatever. This is already getting bad. So it's shit like that happening. We're miscommunicating left and right. And JR's over here, my fucking right-hand guy, gassing everything I say, he adds to it. I go, dude, Dr. Ernest, you're the best. He goes, you're the great. JR goes, you're the greatest. So no matter what I say, he fucking jumps in and adds to it. So I got a hype guy. Then I look over at Ari. He's sitting there like, it looks like the devil's younger brother. And he's sitting there going like this, looking at us with the look of hate that I haven't seen in years.
He got so mad when I told Dr. Ornelius to be my dad at my wedding.
Bro, this is how much we were gassing him up. Guys, this is how much we were gassing this fool up. At one point during the dinner, JR looks at Dr. Ornelius and he fucking goes, hey man, I don't have a dad really, so I would love for you to walk me down the aisle. Bro! You told him I want you to walk me down the aisle.
And he was game.
And he was like, yeah, why not? He was like, I would love to. He was like, I would absolutely love to. And he was, even at that point, because I was on the gas up game too, but I looked at JR and go, what the fuck? You want him to be your dad? What the fuck are you doing? That shit was hilarious. And then later on, we were talking about who outgassed each other. I was like, oh man, you're a hook, line, and sinker talking this guy up. That was really funny. Anyways, the fucking end of the dinner happens now. It's the end of the dinner. We got dessert. We got beers. We got fucking shots. We were partying, dude, and having a great time. And Dr. Ornelas is telling us everything about, like, you guys, now he's setting up, you got to come to my house. So we went from the dentist's office to now we're at dinner, and now we got to go to his house. And we got to get back to the shows, right? Got like another hour to drive across the border and get back to our shows. And we go, and me and JR are now drunk, and we're in that mode. Ari, I don't even think has been drinking. He didn't even eat much, and we're like, oh my God, this is the best food ever. Ceviche. Ari's looking at the food like suspect. He doesn't want to eat it, so he's not having a good time. JR and I are having a fucking
blast.
Oh, we're the bells at a ball, whatever you call it.
It's out of ice, bro. Look at the ice. Look at Ari, 75 years old man. Cheers.
We're having the best time. Now he goes, come to our house. We go, okay, cool. We're game. I look at Ari. He goes, fuck you guys. And now we're like already committed. The bill comes. This is the worst part, I think. The bill comes. Dude, I thought it was going to be like $1,000 at this point. You know, I'm like, dude, this can't be cheap. Got to be at least $500. Right? The bill comes. I'm going, it's got to be at least $500. We get the bill. I open it up and I go, wait, was that just for the chips? Well, that must just be for the chips that we ordered. Dude, it was like $70 for everybody. There was like
$82.
Yeah. Oh, you remember exactly, huh? You
I looked at it and I was like, what?
Yeah, it was like $70, $72 something. And then, yeah, maybe 80 something with tip. Yeah. And it was like, dude, it was, Jared and I were both like, holy shit, look at this. Look at this fucking bill, dude. For all that food we just ate for 6 people or whatever it was. And so we're like, dude, I'm like, dude, you've been so good to us. Dr. Ornelius, me and JR are like, you're going to hook us up with our teeth. You're going to do the surgery. We'll get the bill, dude. Are you kidding me? We'll go to your house. We'll have beers there. You know, we're like, well, I'll have some drinks over there. Ari's like, you fucking assholes. I'm like, we got it. He was so mad, dude. And so it went from that. Anyway, we paid the bill. And now we got to go to Dr. Ornelius' house, which he's talked up, dude. He's like, I got this penthouse. Dude, it's beautiful. I look over the city. I mean, I have whoever I want over there. I could do whatever I want. He's talking like he's Pablo Escobar's cousin, dude. You're already starting to trip because we're driving up these hills, like into TJ, like deep inside the city of TJ.
And Ari looks like white.
Well, yeah,
white.
me and JR, I feel like we can pass, and, you know, we a little tan skin. And Ari's like white, you know? So he's like, so it looks like we kidnapped this dude. And we're driving in his like cartel truck because Ornelius had some like little lifted cartel looking truck, you know. And he's like, I did their teeth. Who do you think does their teeth, pendejo? You know, he's like, I'm the one that does all their teeth, so they leave me alone. So we're like, oh, cool. I'm like, oh, have you ever had any problems with them? You know, this is kind of sketchy shit. He's like, yeah, they run this whole neighborhood. Like after a certain hour, they run the whole thing. There's a bar. And he's telling us all this shit. Then I was like, do you have any troubles? He goes, no, I never had any problems at all. But one time they did kidnap my daughter. Dude, what the fuck? They kidnapped my daughter. And I told him, motherfucker, you do it. And they said they're going to cut off her finger. Remember, he said they said they're going to cut off her finger. And so he sent some other henchmen guys from the top whatever, supposedly. And they like went over there with some guns and were like, hey, man, we're gonna release this girl. If you fucking do anything to them again, we're going to cut your whole arm off or some bullshit like that. Like, you asked for a finger, we're going to take your arm. Something to that effect. It was like some sort of mob movie shit. And then Ari got even more scared. And me and Joe are like, oh, fuck, dude, this is kind of getting weird. He takes us up to his house, fool. Dr. Ornelas. It's an apartment, dude. It's like it's like a little apartment. Whatever. I mean, it's nice for here. Like, if it was here, it would be cool. But in Tijuana, dude, the thing's probably like fucking $600, you know, like a month. But he's like, oh, it's the best. And we're like, you know, still gassing him up. We go, oh, yeah, we can see how you could like it here. With his little balcony and shit. He had a little balcony. He was growing peppers. He's like, this one puts hair on your chest. This one makes your dick hard.
Stiff dick. Chile parado.
Mark, look at this shit, dude.
Chile parado.
Look at this is my homie's fucking bushes right here. These are chili parados. This is stiff dick peppers. You need to get these, Mark. You have low T.
I think we even smoked a joint or something.
Yeah, I think we smoked a joint on his balcony. Some like swag, that like Mexican swag weed that you used to get in high school. You know, with the seeds and sticks. He goes, I got weed. If you want weed, I got the best weed. And he gives us the weed, and it's like just seeds and sticks. And it's like, you know, that weed you smoke and go pop, pop, take a pop, pop. And it's just popping and cracking because there's so much fucking seeds in that bitch. That's what we were smoking.
But he was living a good life, though.
Yeah, he was living a good life. I mean, you know, you can't knock the guy for having a good life. And he seemed to be enjoying it. And then he would go and get like his clients. He said, yeah, I got a lot of people coming from the States to me because I'm like half the price, you know, because the thing I specialize in, that amalgam removal, is very expensive in the States because they have to have all the equipment. I have the equipment. I'm just way less. So we're like, cool, dude. We're like, Dr. Ornelas, great hanging out with you, bro. We'll see you at the shows tonight. And he was coming to the shows. He goes, I'll bring my sons. This is perfect. So we leave the place. Ari's pissed. We're like, get home just in time to shower and go back to the shows. So we go to the shows at the La Jolla Comedy Store. Late show comes. Dr. Ornelas front and center, bro. Like, it's his fucking show.
Yeah.
Dude, he goes, hey, what's up, motherfucker? And he's wasted now. His sons have driven him, so he's hammered. Dr. Ornelas is shit-faced. I get up. I have the set. I should probably release the set where I'm talking to him. So on my YouTube, I'll put the set where I'm talking to Dr. Ornelas because he's in the audience. And he starts acting like, fuck, man, we're going to be talking the whole time. And I'm like, hey, fool, relax, dude. This is my show. Like, you know, we had a good time. And I kind of told the story to the audience of us hanging out and all that shit. But anyway, man, he came to the show. We had a good time. Then afterwards, do you remember afterwards? Dr. Ornelas is hanging around. And now we're like, oh, fuck, man. And he's getting more and more hammered. He's still
And
fucked.
then he gets, but he also like meets two ladies.
Oh, yeah. He met two other. Did he bring them?
No. He
So
met
they
two
were
other
from Mexico,
From
though.
Mexico, yeah.
Right. So at the show, there was two other girls that drove in from Mexico and were at the show. Dr. Ornelas met them and goes, oh, I'm with the comedians. You should hang out with us. So now we got these two girls from Mexico. Dr. Ornelas, his son was like young, and then one of them was like super awkward, but he's like talking about his sons like they're like, you know, he's like, oh, these guys are the best. They're so macho, and they do this and that. And so we're hanging out. It was just like the weirdest group. And then Ari. It is still his birthday. Now we're going out, and now it's a crew of like 5 people we don't even fucking know with us. So we go to a bar for a second, and Ari's like, this is so bullshit. I'm going to go to my parents' house. So Ari goes, fuck this. His parents live in San Diego. He's like, I'm just going to go to my parents'. We're like, dude, Ari, come on, man, let's party. Still not knowing it's his birthday. And I'm like, he's like, no, fuck this. I'm going to go home. We're like, all right, dude, well, maybe we'll meet you at your house. So yeah, Ari says, I'm going to go to my parents' house. His parents live in San Diego. And we're like, fuck it. All right, we're just going to party with these people for a minute. I feel bad. Dr. Ornelas showed us around today, you know, so we'll hang out here with him and his new friends. And the shit just kept going. And we're like, all right, JR and Ari, let's get the fuck out of here, man. And I hit up Ari. I go, Ari, you all right? Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I just got to my parents' house. And I'm like, we're coming over. So now we leave the bar. We went to a bar for a second with these people that, or Dr. Ornelas, you know, just fucking made friends with. And we're like, slowly as the hangout goes, we're starting to realize, oh, Dr. Ornelas is a little bit, he's kind of full of it a little bit. You know, we were buying it hook, line, and sinker. The beginning, we bought it. Like, oh, dude, this guy's the best doctor in Mexico, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then we're starting to see little holes in the story. Then we went to the apartment and we're like, oh, man. And then he started to talk a little looser as he drank. And we're like, oh, this guy's kind of a pirate. This guy's kind of a bad guy. And then he comes to the show even more drunk. And we're like, oh, shit. Then he's like meeting these other people. Now I could see how he was embellishing his relationship with us to impress people, you know, whatever it was. He was like, oh, no, these guys, oh, they're like my best buds. We hang out all the time. Yeah, so I came to visit them. They came to visit me.
I'm going to walk him down the aisle.
Yeah, yeah. This guy, I'm his dad.
He told the two girls that.
Dude, he said that to the girl. He goes, this guy, I'm his dad. He goes to jail. He goes, this guy, I'm going to walk him down the aisle. That's how close I am. I'm going to walk this guy down the fucking aisle. He's going to give him away at his wedding. That's what he told him. Damn, that was funny, JR. He did say that. And then he's like, let's go. We're going to go to the next place. I'm like, we're going to go to Ari's. And it kind of worked out to where they came with us in their, remember, in his truck?
Yeah.
And then he told the girls to come. So now that's another truck. And we're all going to Ari's parents' house. And then we get there and Ari's like about to go to bed.
He comes out walking with no shoes, like some shorts, all like it was his bed attire. Bro.
Yeah, he was going to bed, and we show up with a full-on party, dude. It's his birthday, and like he can't get any worse. We show up, dude. We're like, oh yeah, everyone's like, we're hungry. Everyone's hungry. So then he's like, yeah, I'm hungry too. He orders fucking, or already was gonna already order something. He's like, oh, I was gonna get Jack in the Box, and everyone starts ordering, dude, on his Postmates. So Ari, I think, ends up paying for the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, what a birthday. What a fucking nightmare of a birthday. And that was it. Then we just like closed out the night. I think Dr. Arnelius got even like a little bit weirder. He's like, oh, this is great. This is the life. And we're like, hey, man, you got to go home at some point. Man, that was such a funny ass trip.
And not until the next day did you go, oh, shit. It was Ari's birthday.
Dude, I didn't know. He didn't say anything, you know?
That's why he was so excited to go down to Mexico.
Yeah, I think he was excited to go to Mexico, and we're just going to have like a guy's trip down there and just drink and party. And then we took Ari, this poor guy, and just fucking took him through the ringer.
I just remember Ari, like you going like, hey, Mexico was pretty fun. And he goes, it would have been fun if just we hung out together.
Oh. That was it, dude. That's exactly what he said. It would have been fun if just we hung out together. Poor Ari. Ari, I love you, man. This is your birthday episode podcast. All that because we got our teeth cleaned. Oh, my God. And here's the ending. Here's to cap it all off, to bring it all back. Dr. Ornelius, like a few weeks later, now we're like in Tahoe or something. We're doing shows in Tahoe. And I'm like looking up Dr. Arnelius. I'm thinking about, all right, when are we going to set this up? Or I think he reached out to me and was like, hey, man, it was a lot of fun hanging. Let me know when you guys want to come down and we'll take care of the teeth. You know, we'll take care of your teeth for you. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. I'll check in with you. Yeah, that was fun. And then I go, let me just look this guy up. Like we're just taking his word for it. Let me look him up on Yelp. I always Yelp everything. I've talked about it before on the podcast. If I'm doing anything, a baseline is Yelp. That just tells you, and I encourage you to do it. And just like, kind of you get better and better at reading whether it's like 20 reviews of just the owner's friends or if this is some real deal reviews. Because even the best guys have little bad reviews. And that's when you know it's like real shit. And then you can decipher whether that bad review is bad enough for you not to go there. Or is it just like some pissed off client didn't get their way and they're trying to ruin this big guy's business. Anyway, I look up Dr. Ornelius and whatever his fucking doctor office is called. And is not good. It's basically saying this poor guy went in there and got his amalgam taken out and he got mercury poisoning. Yeah, it was like really bad. He's like, dude, like, don't go to this guy.
And another one was like, yeah, he took me to the jail.
Oh my God. Yeah, and there was that other one that said, dude, do not go to this guy. I came down from the States and he intimidated me and said the cartel is going to get involved. Do you remember? It was like, he's like, yeah, dude, this guy, he called the police. They put me in jail. They took like a poor guy to jail. Another review. And needless to say, that was the last time I spoke to or heard from Dr. Arnelius. I kind of cut off ties at that point. But JR is going next week to get his amalgam removed. And that's that, bro. What a freaking weird ass trip. That was funny, dude. What a weird ass trip, huh?
Oh, fuck.
You got to stay hydrated, man. I don't drink enough water. Dude, this last week, my dad, I've been hanging out with my dad a lot because of the boat and shit, and going down there and taking him out and, going fishing. So I see him a lot more. My brother lives 1 block away. You guys know that already. He lives 1 street away. The other day, apparently my dad, he drinks a little bit at night. He'll drink wine and shit. And he was walking in the garage to get into his car, and he fucking trips and he falls and hurts his rib pretty bad. And he's a pretty prideful guy. Doesn't want to admit he's hurt all the time. So I call him up. I just call him, just seeing how he's doing. And he's like, hello, hey, I'm here, Drone. And he's like a little bit slower. Something's a little off. And he's like, did you get something for the boat? I forget what it was, but he was talking. And I'm like, dude, he sounds really weird. I go, Dad, why you sound so weird? He's like, oh, I'm just taking a nap. I'm like, Dad, you sound like really weird, dude. What's going on? He's like, oh, well, the reason for that is, I was walking in the garage and I fell. I was like, oh shit, okay. I was like, oh, that's what it is. He's like, yeah, I hit my ribs, Yeah, it hurts a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is then. I'm like, yeah, well, get some rest. He's like, yeah. I was like, is it really bad? He's like, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty painful. I'm like, fuck, maybe he had a heart attack or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
So I got a little scared. So I was like, hey, why don't you, call the ambulance if it's really bad? Like call 911 or something, get somebody over there. Or I call Mark, my brother, to check on you. He's like, no, don't call Mark. Don't call Mark. Because my brother and him are fighting right now. So I go, okay, well then I'll come if you want me. He goes, no, don't worry about it, Amir June. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But I was like, are you sure it's not a heart attack? He goes, no, it's not. I hurt my rib. My heart's on my left side, you asshole. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. I said, are you sure? He goes, no, it's my right. It's my right. My heart is on my left, you asshole. That's what he told me at the end. And I go, okay, fine. Call me if anything changes. He goes, okay. I get a call about 1 o'clock. No, it's like whatever, midnight or 1. And he's like, Amir, it hasn't gotten better. It has not gotten better. I think I'm going to go to I need to go to the doctor. Bobby is here. Bobby's my stepmom. And I'm like, no, dude, I'll come down and take you. She shouldn't be driving right now. And I know you've been drinking and shit. And I know he's been drinking because of the pain too,
Yeah.
So he's probably even more fucked up. And also I was like, I'll come down there. And he's like, okay. And my fucking brother, I call him just to go check on him. Doesn't even answer the fucking phone. Doesn't answer. I'm fucking an hour away. He's not an hour. Maybe I'm 45 minutes with no traffic away. And he's fucking 4 minutes in a very slow walk away from my dad's house. So I go down there, man. And my friend comes with me. And she was just so helpful, dude. She came down, and my dad, I pull up, and it was just, it's so much better when you're doing something like that to have someone to talk to. And it just made the night so much more fun to have her with me. Because we were going to deal with an situation that I know it was going to be fucking hell for me. I show up, dude. My dad is at the door. He opens the fucking door with a glass of wine that big. And I go, and he's fucking dressed up. Like he's dressed up like he's going out. Like to a fucking club, dude. Hair's done. Fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, dude. And I think it's because I told him I'm coming with a friend. He didn't want to. He's like, no. And he shows up like we're going to a fucking party, dude. I thought he couldn't move. He's like, I couldn't move. So I thought I was going to get there. He was going to be in bed. Fool is standing up with a big ass glass of wine. I go, Dad, you can't. What are you drinking? He goes, shut up. Shut the fuck up. And then he takes his wine, puts it inside. I go, come on, let's go. So we go to put him in my car. He can't get in my car. It's too low. So I'm like, let me drive your car. I jump in his car and we put him in the car, dude. We go to the emergency room, and it's like, COVID now, so you can't even go in. So like, me and my friend, we take him And then he goes up, and this dude refuses to, like, you know, when you go to an emergency room, dude, it's very serious. It's an emergency. There's people with gunshot wounds, poles sticking out of their fucking foreheads. My dad strolls up like he's going to a nightclub, walks up to the emergency thing. We walk up, he walks up, and they go, well, where's the patient? And first my friend goes up and asks if they can get a wheelchair. You know, my dad, he has such an ego and pride that he goes, I'm not what am I, fucking 89 years old? I don't need a wheelchair. You know, that's his mentality. One time my brother got him reading glasses because he was having trouble reading like menus and shit. So this was like 15 years ago. My brother's like, hey, I got you these cool reading glasses, you know, from whatever. Like they're nice, a nice pair of reading glasses. And my dad goes, you might as well get me a fucking walker. Why don't you get me a fucking walker then? Put me in an old folk home. That's how he took that. Instead of saying like, oh, thanks, that was cool. You know, if you ever say anything like he can't do what he used to do, he thinks of himself as like a 25-year-old man, you know, like can do everything, can swim 18 miles. My dad's hilarious, dude. He has so much pride and shit that, you know, they have this little dock thing in front of their house. And one time he fell in the water. He was like trying to get into a kayak or something, you know, and he thought he could do it still. And he tripped and fell into the water, fully clothed. And he just acted like he meant to go for a swim. and he was having trouble, but there's no like stairs, there's no like ladders to get out. And you got to have the upper body strength to pull yourself up. And my dad's a little older now and he couldn't quite pull himself out. Right. So he's like just waiting, you know, he's waiting. He's just in the water, treading water, but he's clothed with shoes and shit, like with fucking penny loafers on. He's just going like in the water and people are walking up. Are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. But he won't admit that he's fucked up or like, I need help or I need, you know, can you help me out here? So poor Bobby has seen him and he's like, oh my God, Michael, are you okay? He's like, no, it's okay. The water is nice. He's acting like he wanted to swim and there's nowhere around for him to get up to get out. So he's just swimming around looking for, you know, whatever. Now he's holding onto the side of the thing. And then Bobby calls my sister-in-law and goes, oh my God, Michael's fallen into the water. Get some help. Like, let's get him out of here. There's no way for him to get out. And so my sister-in-law comes over and this is like, this couldn't be, if you told my dad the worst thing that could possibly happen is for her to see him in that situation or for anybody that doesn't really know him to see him like that. You know what I mean? Like he always wants to put off this aura. He's a macho guy that I can do anything like this. I meant to do that. I wanted to go swimming. You know, the water was nice. I took a dip, but it just looked so weird. And I think the neighbors were like, what the fuck is he doing? But like they came by, but he's like, no, I'm okay. Cause he's got so much pride that he didn't want their help. So my sister-in-law comes over and goes, oh my God, she runs and grabs like a maintenance dude that's like working somewhere to like help my dad out. So I'm saying that all to tell you guys that he's just a very stubborn motherfucker, dude. So we get to the emergency room and he goes, I don't need a chair. No, I'm okay. He's basically saying I'm okay in an emergency room. Then it's like, why don't you stay your ass home? That's what they're thinking. It's COVID. No one's coming to the emergency room unless they absolutely have to be in a fucking emergency room. And they're not fucking wine drunk, you know, and like killing the pain with wine and half drunk coming in there to fucking, you know, figure out. Because even for a rib, there's nothing really you can do. If it's broken, you can't even do anything about it. That's like the one thing that everybody in the medical field will tell you. Like there's nothing you can do for a broken rib. You just have to kind of sit with the pain anyway. So we go there. We have to drop him off because, you know, my friend and I, we can't go inside. So we're like, all right, fuck. Now we're stuck in Long Beach. Dude, Long Beach. And for God knows how long. You know how emergency rooms go. And especially if you don't have a gunshot wound in your head or you don't have, you're immediately bleeding, you're not like the first priority. So now we got to wait. We're sitting there. We're like, what the fuck are we going to do? We go to In-N-Out. We're just like, fuck it. We'll make the best of it. And then my dad calls and he's like, I've been here for fucking 3 hours. This is like 3 hours later, dude. He goes, I've been here for 3 fucking hours. I could have been in an emergency room in Africa that works faster than that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And he goes, this is not a hospital. Dude, and he's like, they're laughing. They're over there laughing. I'm in pain. He goes, the pain must have got really bad or some shit because he was pissed. And he goes, they're around the corner. You know, the doctor's in the hallway. They're laughing. They're joking and laughing with each other. This is not a hospital. And he's like, okay, now the nurse practitioner came in because he was yelling. So whatever, to take his x-ray. So they take the x-ray and they show him that his his rib is fractured. Nothing you can do about it, dude. They just give him some patching, some medicine. And that's it, dude. So I was there for 6 hours. 6 fucking hours. If my friend wasn't there, it would have been horrible. And 6 hours, dude, we're chilling there. And he was like, nothing happened, you know? Like, I go to pick him up, and instead of being like, oh, thank you so much for taking me, you know, he was like, where the fuck are you? Like, at the end. It took us like a little longer to come pick him up. He's called us, like, he expected us to be right there, but there's nowhere to fucking park or be in the hospital. So my dad's nuts, man. I love the guy, and I'm trying to get it to be better, man. But every time we have some sort of interaction, it always results in some sort of blow up. And it's like, I have no problem going down there to do that shit for him. But it's like just a little appreciation. And I think my dad feels like, and it's sad, but it's like he laid the groundwork for us to be the exact way that we are. You know, the dynamic that we have, like where sometimes I won't talk to him for fucking months. Like when he was living in Iran, I wouldn't talk to him for months, dude. Like I wouldn't even call him. But I think it was just because of the resentment shit. You know, I was like, how the fuck would I check in with him, you know, for my childhood. And then he's always wanted it to be where his sons like are like, you know, oh, my father, you know, talk about him so highly and everything. And I know he's always wanted that. But unfortunately, he didn't do the work underneath that to make it to where my brother and I treat him that way. Mm-hmm. So the reason we're so like, you know, like my brother didn't even care to fucking go over there. I even told him, I texted him, I go, hey, go check on dad. He was like, oh, whatever. He didn't even fucking care, you know? And that's pretty sad. But so I know that he's dealing with that. He's dealing with that he doesn't have the life that he wanted, or the relationship with his sons that way he wanted to have. But that is why if I ever have kids, I will make sure that I don't make the same mistakes. And I owe my dad everything for everything he did for me and bring me here. Like, I know that and I acknowledge that. But I just know if I have kids, I hope that helps me realize I need to, you know, make that relationship stronger, work on a relationship, to then later on have the sort of bond and the family feeling that I want. Because I always was missing that, and I'd find it in my friends' families and shit like that. I'd always, you know, I may have talked about that on here before, but I never had it in my own family. I feel like we were just so disconnected in our relationships. We're just so fucking willy-nilly, and, you know, it wasn't like, oh, anything for your brother, or that's your brother, you fucking do anything for him. You know, it's just like, I treat some of my friends better than I treat my brother. Yeah, that's the truth. You know, and I treat my fucking, you know, friends better than I treat my mom sometimes, or some shit like that. But it's all because of the way that you were raised, or the family unit not being, you know, formed in a way of like that bond being so strong. I'm not a therapist. I don't know why I took this tone to be so low, but I mean, it's sad. It's like, fuck, man, I wish I had that. And so that's what I'm trying to work on. And is it too late to fix it with my dad? I don't know, man. But like that interaction we had, and I know he's thankful, but he just can't say, fucking, I love you, son, thank you. Or in my dad's eyes, he thinks it's like, dude, that's my son. He's supposed to do that. Yeah. But realistically, what he doesn't realize is it's like work for me to say, go care about your dad. Like, I have to fucking actively go, dude, you got to do this. And like, I know it may sound crazy for you if you're listening and you don't have that type of relationship with your dad like I have, where there's tons of back issues and shit, you know, like resentments that I've had for him over the years. Again, I understand he brought me to this country and I owe him everything for that. But there was all this like not being there when I wanted him to be there, like not paying attention to me, or like I didn't get attention. That's why I'm a fucking comedian, man. Is that thing, I think, is now I look for attention in other strangers because I never got it as a thing. And that's where I find my validation. He expects his sons to be like, that's my father. And he'll tell me stories about, this is sad, he'll tell me stories about his friends' sons, you know? Like, you know, they were there 24 hours a day waiting on him, you know, making, you know, he's talking about his friend that got older and like, but what he doesn't realize is that his friend probably had a relationship with his sons and like, you know, to where they wanted to take care of him like that. It's not a given, you know, just because you have kids that they're going to want to treat you like that later on in life, or like, you know, be there for you every step of the way.
No. I hear it, dude. And the crazy thing is, it's like a catch-22, because who knows if you would have even been a comedian if he did show you love.
That's true.
So
I always, I mean, I have him to thank for all that. It's so funny. Like me and my friend that came down with me, we were talking about that then. And I was like, dude, isn't this ridiculous? Like, it's like, and she's like, dude, this is why you are who you are, is because of that guy. And it's so true. So it's like, the silver lining or the spin on it or the way to look at it is, dude, that man made me who I am. And I'm very happy to be Amir. You know, I'm happy to be the guy that I am because, I've learned to cope with a lot of shit with humor or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I like that as compared to like somebody else that's very serious and, you know, which is weird to me that my brother turned out the way he did and I turned out the way I did, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's that click that makes us who we are? You know what I'm saying? Like for him to be so sensitive the other way, but I'm sensitive and I mask it with humor.
Yeah. I mean, but that happens fucking in countless of families.
Yeah.
Just like you don't have
two guys go the two different ways.
Yeah. Like I don't have a good relationship with my brother. We're not fucking at odds, but I tell my friends that I love him. If it's weird to tell, if I tell my fucking brother that I love him, we have to be drunk.
Yeah, and the same way with my brother.
We have to be drunk.
That's the same way with my brother, and it's like I'll end a conversation with "I love you," and it's so he gets weird. I almost want to have him on the phone
and tell him,
and he goes, okay, bye. He'll go like, oh, bye, but then, yeah, it's so weird, man. Why do we not say that?
It's crazy.
And he treats his friends better than he treats me a lot of times. I treat my friends better than I treat him. And that's sad, and I never wanted that, but I don't know what the fuck.
That's life, bro.
This is therapy session, Salty Locks. But it's like that, man, and if you feel the same way, just know you're not alone. There's a lot of families, and I feel like a lot of people are dysfunctional. And even when you see that family, like in the window when you walk by and you go, oh, that's a perfect family, there's some other shit going on in there. So you can never take for granted what you have. Because it could be a lot worse. Like my family could be a lot worse. That's another way to look at it.
Also being introspective and like wanting to change. Because that's a big thing too. Like even wanting, because you could have turned out like anybody else and just not giving a fuck about how your relationship with your dad is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
But even like thinking about like, fuck, I want it to be different, but it's not. That goes a long way with a lot of people. And I don't think a lot of people do that.
That's true, dude. But it's such hard work, man. It's like
a lot.
Because every time I go, I bail so easy. You know, like he does one thing and I go, man, fuck this shit. Like he'll say one thing and I go, man, fuck this shit, and I'll snap. I'm still there where I snap. You know, I'll be like, dude, don't fucking talk to me like that. He'll talk to me like in a dickish way and be like,
yeah,
dude. Still to this day, he'll still tell me sometimes that, which is so fucked up that like act like he's not proud. Which I don't look for his validation in like, oh, are you proud of me, dad, or whatever the fuck. I don't look for him in that. My brother still does. And it still fucks with him when my dad doesn't, acknowledge, oh, you bought a big boat. Like you bought, like I don't give a fuck. So he would tell me the other day, like, oh, you should have been a doctor. You could have been a lawyer. Like, motherfucker, I do just fine. Like I live the best life I know how to live.
Yeah.
And I at least I go to work and I love it. My work is so fun, and I'm a success in my eyes. So if you don't think that, fuck you. It's like, so when he says shit like that, it's hard for me not to snap and be like, dude, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? I mean, it's like when you're not happy with yourself, then you project that unhappiness onto other people.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes with him. And it's like, I'll look at him and he's like constantly scowling at people. Do you know what I mean? Like his offset face is like resting bitch face is like resting scowl, dude. He's like always looking at people like and I know his internal monologue is, look at this fucking guy. That if my dad had a logo, it'd be, look at this fucking guy.
That's so funny though. But that's how like a lot of people that grow up in dysfunctional families shit is. Because I find that on my time, my first instinct is like, oh, this is a little bitch.
Me
but
too.
Then I gotta be like, wait a minute.
Right.
And you know what? The funny thing is you've done that too. Like you've judged somebody and then after been like, fuck, I judged that dude, man. Why did I judge him?
Because
he
it's
turned
my
out
dad.
to be a cool dude.
100%. Dude, my dad was always like, look at this fucking guy. You'll be eating. And he'll just be scanning the room, dude. Just look at this fucking guy. Some guy will sneeze. He'll be like, this fucking guy. Look at this. Look at the guy's pants. Like the guy's wearing, like sagging his pants or something. Like, look at this fucking piece of shit. All day. And so like that becomes your default preset too. You know, you're like, oh, okay. So every time I see somebody, but that maybe made me funny at talking shit because my dad's really good at talking shit, dude. He's really good at fuck. He could roast the shit out of you, you know?
Yeah.
And he'll bring up shit from the past. You know those like rap battle guys that like fucking bring up your daddy left you when you were 2, mother. Like my dad could bring up some old shit and wreck you, dude, in a rap battle. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he knows how to dig deep and like he doesn't give a shit. And like he pulls scars, scabs, all that shit. He doesn't give a fuck. And then 2 seconds later, he'll be cool with you, you know? So it's interesting, man. But it is what it is. At some point, you got to be like, I got dealt the hand. You know, you play it or whatever you do with it. But it's like, or do you like write them off? Like, what do you do? Because you can't change him, dude. You can't change him anymore. It's like, dude, he's too set. It's like, I can't anticipate. I can't be like, count on him changing. I can't count on him changing.
Too hard, dude. I've seen it firsthand. It's too hard. Like you can deal with it or like not deal with it, like accept it and not put up with certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even that in my family, like sometimes you got to be like, hey, I ain't putting up with that shit anymore. If not, I'm moving this way. You know?
And you got to just set it and go. And I think my brother's got to that point, but he still slips, you know? He has like too big of a heart with that shit because he'll like be like, no, fuck that. I'm like, he won't talk to my dad for like, you know, they live right there. He just won't talk to him for like 6 months. And then, you know, one day he'll just be like, oh, whatever. They'll go hang out. And then it'll happen again. You know, my dad'll let him down or some shit.
Is what it is.
So we talked about some good stuff, man. Dr. Ornelius, all the way to my pops going to the ER and trying to fix that relationship. Dude, I hope it gets better, dude. There are some days that are good. I notice when he drinks wine, dude, as soon as he cracks that wine, bro, it's over. Like the first sip of wine, dude, it's a different guy.
That's most people.
Yeah, so I noticed that. And I think the wine exacerbates his that self-hate, bad attitude shit. You know what I mean? Like he starts to put that on people.
Well,
he's not happy.
You don't even know what's going on in his head.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, dude. I know he's depressed because like the money in Iran got all fucked up and him being stuck here, not being able to go back, you know, and forth. That's probably bothering him. There's a lot of shit, dude. And probably him realizing that like, oh my God, look at these are my sons and this is how they fucking feel about me. You know what I'm saying? It's got to hurt him, dude, when like he's in Iran and I don't call him for fucking 8 months. I call him on his birthday and Father's Day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you made it more pleasant to like talk to him and shit. Another thing is he never listens to anything. So it's like, you know, I'll be talking and he's just not listening. That's my family, man. But fuck it, dog. It is what it is. You don't choose your family, dog. You choose your friends, not your family. Die for die, fool. You gotta be your family, dog. You gotta respect your family.
I don't even invite my uncles to shows, bro.
Why would you, bro? They'll heckle the shit out of you. Hey, fucking bitch.
They'll heckle me more than anyone else.
Yeah, this fool's a clown, dog. JR, tell that joke about fucking grandma, fool. Don't you dare, I'll fuck you up, fool.
Yeah, she goes, don't be talking about my mom like that.
Stiff dick. Mark, look at this shit.